What's up, guys? Welcome back to Weekly Weird News.
The 2016 Summer Olympics are only 5 short weeks away, and it's honestly kind of amazing that we haven't really made any time to talk about just how fucked up everything in Rio de Janeiro is right now.
Well, that's because it kind of crept up of like, oh, Summer Olympics again? In Rio?
Another Olympics?
This doesn't make any sense.
So, for decades, having your city chosen as an Olympic host city has been seen as a blessing. But for Brazil, and Rio de Janeiro in particular, it's more of a curse at this point.
Yeah, so the lead up to these 2016 Olympics began all the way back in 2008 when the bidding process began, with cities around the world submitting applications to the International Olympic Committee. In 2008, the IOC narrowed down the candidates to Chicago, Madrid, Rio, and Tokyo. And after a series of votes and eliminations, Rio de Janeiro was chosen to host the 2016 Summer Olympics. And at the time, it seemed like this would finally be Rio's time to shine.
We got this. Back then, their crime rates were at record lows, their economy was growing, unemployment was low, and they'd just discovered a bunch of new oil sources. What could go wrong? Well, turns out a lot of things.
Yeah.
For one thing, events like the Olympics almost always go over budget. They always end up costing way more than they're initially projected, and they don't profit, aside from indirect effects on tourism and infrastructure. In Rio's case, though, they initially budgeted $14 billion, and now it's looking like it'll cost more like $20 billion or more.
Yeah.
So that's a $6 billion deficit.
A drop in the bucket.
Not chump change.
Yeah. But hey, at least some of those billions are going toward long-term improvements to the city, right? Well, that kind of depends on your definition of improvement. If you think the best way to deal with abject poverty is to simply move it farther away from you so you can't see it, then yeah, they are improving shit out in Rio. Go Rio. Since winning the Olympic bid in 2009, the Brazilian government has displaced over 70,000 poor people and built big opaque plastic walls along the parts of their highway that pass through impoverished areas, supposedly to fix noise pollution. But the same walls are made out of transparent plastic in the nicer parts of Rio, so you can still see stuff.
They've put a lot of money into improving their transportation system, but they've also offset those costs by canceling a huge number of bus lines that used to go between the poor northern part of the city and the metropolitan south part. You're just gonna have to walk, guys.
Yeah.
None of this is really that surprising, though. Cities have been using the out-of-sight, out-of-mind method for dealing with poor people for centuries. We get it. You got the whole world coming over for dinner, so you're tidying things up. That way your guests, they'll think you're classy.
Oh yeah, when we had guests over, I was like, clean your room. You know what I did? Shoved everything into the closet, closed the doors. Looks super tight.
It's a lovely house.
Yeah. Also, there's a problem of street crime, like, theft, assault, and murder. When Rio was awarded the 2016 Olympics, Brazil's crime rate had been on the downturn for several years. Things still weren't great, but they were better than they'd been in a long time. And when Brazil hosted the World Cup 2 years ago, law enforcement was on high alert, and the military pretty much set up occupations in many of the more crime-heavy neighborhoods. This time, though, well, this sums things up pretty well. Yeah, there you go.
Welcome to hell. Police and firefighters don't get paid. Whoever comes to Rio de Janeiro will not be safe.
Yeesh.
Yeah, so that banner there is being held presumably by some of Rio's police and firefighters standing in the arrivals terminal of Rio de Janeiro International Airport. So that's the first thing you see.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking, hey, whatever, if I get stabbed, sure, I'll just go to the hospital. Well, here's another picture showing one of the first things you see upon exiting the airport, a highway overpass that's been tagged with, "Welcome, we don't have hospitals." In both cases, emergency services and medical services, there apparently just isn't enough money going around to pay for a lot of it. Police report not being paid for months and having to provide their own supplies and fucking gasoline for their cop cars, and the same goes for doctors and hospital employees.
Well, we'll just reuse the scalpel. It's fine, just dust it off.
All right.
Put it in some mouthwash, it'll
Yeah.
clean it off. Anyways, side note, speaking of hospitals and cops, just this past Sunday at Rio's largest hospital, one of the 5 hospitals designated to treat tourists during the Olympics, 20 armed men stormed the building with assault rifles and successfully busted out a drug kingpin who was being treated there while in police custody, leaving 1 dead and 2 injured. And in another recent piece of news out of Rio that practically screams, "Stay away," This week, a mutilated body washed onto the shores of Copacabana Beach, where the Olympic beach volleyball events will be held in just 5 weeks.
Hey, on the bright side, it didn't happen while a live volleyball event was happening.
That would have been crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't a volleyball at all. It's a mutilated corpse.
Hell, even former Brazilian soccer star Rivaldo is just straight up telling anyone who will listen to stay the hell out of Rio. Last month in an Instagram post, he shared a photo of a young woman with the caption, "Criminals in Rio de Janeiro killed this 17-year-old girl this morning. Things are getting uglier here every day. I advise everyone with plans to visit Brazil for the Olympics in Rio to stay in their country of origin. Your life will be in danger here. This is without even speaking about the state of public hospitals and all the Brazilian political mess. Only God can change the situation in our Brazil.
Holy shit.
This is a guy who's been to the Olympics a bunch of times.
Yeah, so not exactly the shining endorsement you'd expect from a Brazilian sports icon and former Olympic bronze medalist, but what's that he said at the end there about the whole Brazilian political mess? Well, Brazil is an old country and has been independent from Portugal since the early 1800s, but has only been a democracy since the late 1980s. Before that, it was a military dictatorship full of corruption and kickbacks, and old habits, they tend to die hard.
Yeah,
with a vengeance.
so Brazil's national oil company, and the only oil company in Brazil, Petrobras, is currently in the middle of one of the biggest political scandals ever for illegally funneling billions of dollars into the offshore accounts of company executives and Brazilian politicians. And Brazil's current president, Dilma Rousseff, was the chairman of Petrobras from 2003 to 2010 when most of the corruption took place. She's currently being impeached. Just for a sense of the scale of that scandal, one former Petrobras executive, once he started feeling the heat from the law, offered to just return the money that he'd scraped off Petrobras and illegally hidden away. $100 million.
I still have it. It's in my bed.
I'll give it back.
Yeah. I would like to think that they found an oil splotch on a dress somewhere, and that's how she got impeached. Just like Clinton. All this is happening while Brazil's economy is already suffering because of the global prices of oil and soybeans, which are two of their biggest exports. Those are way down. And the economy of their biggest trade partner, China, is also slowing down. So you can understand that the people of Brazil, especially the poor people, are fucking pissed off that during a time when they're suffering even more financially than usual, and when basic emergency services like police, fire, and hospitals can barely keep the lights on, it turns out Brazil's elites have been getting filthy rich and not paying taxes. And the cherry on top of this shit sundae is the $20 billion Rio de Janeiro Olympics.
Yeah.
Sure, we can take that on right now.
An Olympics that we've barely even talked about at this point in this video, but Brazil's corruption problem isn't just limited to Petrobras. It also includes most of the companies contracted by the government to build the infrastructure and venues for the Olympics, several of whom are also being investigated right now, which would explain why things are now $6 billion over budget. And also still shitty. In April, a seaside bike path that had just opened in January to help ease road congestion for the Olympics was hit by a wave and collapsed, sending 2 cyclists falling to their death in the sea.
On top of the Brazilian federal government's problems, the governor of the state of Rio de Janeiro earlier this month declared a state of financial emergency, begging the federal government for financial support to prevent what he described as a total collapse in public security, health, education, transport, and environmental management, and also a, quote, financial calamity. The state of Rio's responsibilities for the Olympics include extending the subway, which at this point, even if nothing goes wrong, will be complete just days before the start of the games, as well as cleaning Guanabara Bay, where the yachting events will be held, and also some swimming events apparently, which, by the way, is still full of trash and raw sewage and human shit because there is no money left to do anything about it. Have you seen the aerial photos of this bay?
It's a dump.
Yeah,
They're swimming in trash.
Yeah, it's bad.
But
the one guy, he was there practicing during the yachting thing and got splashed by the water, and it gave him a rash that was eating his skin away. Yeah, that's real.
But even for the athletes and visitors who won't have to swim through human feces, there's of course a much bigger health risk looming over everyone's heads: the fucking Zika virus.
Yeah.
Transmitted by mosquitoes, which Brazil has a fuckload of, scientists aren't even clear on the extent of the effects of this current strain of Zika because it's only been in Brazil since 2013. But so far they know that pregnant women infected by it give birth to babies with small, underdeveloped brains, and adults infected with it are at risk for conditions like Guillain-Barré syndrome, which eventually leads to paralysis and death.
Yeah, despite the Brazilian government literally enlisting the army to go out and kill mosquitoes, the state of Rio has still been one of the highest rates of Zika in all of Brazil. And with 500,000 foreigners estimated to be coming to Rio for the Olympics, this affects all of us, because if any of those foreigners get bit by a Zika mosquito and then return home to anywhere in the world with mosquitoes, the virus will be easily spread and could lead to a global epidemic. Understandably, a lot of medical researchers are calling for the Olympics to be canceled or postponed because this. Apparently, the risk is very low. It could be just propaganda, but apparently the mosquito problem is not as bad in August, and
That's
the risk
what they say,
is very
but they
low.
Don't know. They don't know.
Yeah.
So the U.S. Centers for Disease Control, they're recommending that pregnant women or even women planning on getting pregnant anytime soon should stay the hell out of places with Zika, like Brazil. And already several journalists from NBC, the network who is hosting the Olympics here in the U.S., are just refusing to go.
Yeah.
And there's even a few athletes skipping the Olympics over Zika fears, including Northern Irish golfer Rory McIlroy.
Rory McIlroy!
Or as he says, Rory McIlroy, and U.S. cyclist TJ Van Garderen.
Yeah. Also, pretty much everyone that was asked from the NBA is like, nah.
We're pretty tired from the playoffs.
Well, and the whole thing with that is like, no one gives. I'm generalizing. Who gives a shit about the Summer Olympics? I watch it, it's fun or whatever. But if you're a world-class NBA basketball player, why are you gonna risk your bread and butter, the NBA season, to go down to Brazil, where there's a bunch of Zika mosquitoes and human garbage in the water, and play and have your knees blown out or something like that on the court? And then it's like, oh, my entire career's ruined because I wanted to be on the dream team.
Not dream team anymore.
Yeah, now your career's a dream. Anyways, on top of all of that, the integrity of the actual Olympic Games is in question, with Rio de Janeiro's $66 million anti-doping lab in charge of making sure athletes aren't cheating with performance-enhancing drugs being shut down by the World Anti-Doping Agency. It couldn't be going any worse. It was shut down as part of an investigation that also accused the Russian government of helping their athletes cheat at the Beijing, London, and Sochi Olympics, and Russia's track and field team has been straight up banned from the Rio Olympics over doping allegations.
Yeah, and just to add insult to injury with this whole
No, please.
Rio
2016. This country has a family, Elliot. Throw in the towel.
So at an Olympic,
My God.
At a torch lighting ceremony earlier this month
God.
in the Brazilian city of Manaus, I think it's pronounced, event organizers decided, let's make this fun. Let's include an Amazon jaguar in the whole spectacle, which it at some point escaped its handler and ended up being shot to death.
Harambe, no!
It's another Harambe. Brazil doesn't have an official national anthem, but many would consider the endangered jaguar as the national symbol of Brazil. So having one die a pointless and easily avoidable death at a ceremony celebrating Brazil's first Olympics and the first Olympics ever in South America seems like a little bit of a bad omen.
This year has been great.
It's kind
of like... We got
like
the U.S. political drama. We got the British political drama. We have the worst ever, literally cursed by God, Rio de Janeiro Olympics. It's great.
They say if you get close enough to the Christ the Redeemer statue, he spits on you.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. But yeah, this is kind of like, it's like, let's say you're throwing a party at your house and, you know, you're really excited for this party, but your grandpa literally just died on the couch 10 minutes before everyone got there. The kitchen's on fire.
He shit himself. He shit himself because you evacuate your bowels and you die, so there's shit everywhere.
Your dog has rabies and he's biting everyone. Your parents are in the middle of a divorce.
Yeah, a very violent divorce.
And you have stomach flu. And they're like, no, the party's still on. Come on, it's gonna be a great time.
Yeah.
Everyone come to the party, please.
Please, I really need to be cheered up right now.
Also, we have no money. Please give us money.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. You bring your own beer now. Fuck, woo. I mean, we're not trying to like shit on the Olympics or Brazil in general.
It's just a perfect storm of bad shit happening right now, and it sucks. Because Brazil was on the upswing for a long time. Like City of God, people look at that and they're like, oh, Brazil sucks. But that City of God takes place in the 80s when Brazil actually was fucking awful. They were on the up and up, and then just the perfect storm of bad things all happen at once. Yeah. And now the country's, it's just a mess. And the Olympics are happening during this mess.
In the midst of the downfall.
Yeah.
Anyways, here's some of the best, now to just break away from the depression, some of the best real headlines from this week that are just insane.
Yeah, but not as insane as Brazil.
Yeah.
Starting with, would you give up cheese to eliminate your student loan debt? Survey says many borrowers would.
You know, it's funny, I was watching the Today Show of all things, today, and they had a similar thing where they said that, would you rather, if you could expunge your student debt.
I think it's from the same survey. There's a bunch of
if you could expunge your student debt, would you go without sex for 15 years? And everyone was like, yes.
Yeah,
that's how bad
60-something% of them said that they would film a sex tape to get out of their student debt.
I mean, most of these nerds aren't getting laid anyway, all these college Poindexters, but...
A full, 50%, less than the sex tape, said they would vote for Donald Trump to get rid of their student debt.
Listen.
There was a bunch of really good ones, but yeah, student debt sucks. I have a lot of it.
Yeah, Elliot has a lot of it.
Please help.
I just have a lot of credit card debt. I got a
lot of that too.
Yeah, I was living off that for many years.
I am still...
Hey, hot tip from ETC. Don't live off a credit. Like, you know what? I think it'll turn out fine.
You kind of have to.
You kind of have to,
sometimes.
yeah. But just make sure your payments.
Keep an eye on it.
Yeah, keep a close eye on it.
Don't just pay the minimum, because interest is a bitch.
Yeah, it'll take you. I think mine, if I paid the minimum back when I had the big debt problem, I just let it. Not to get too personal here, but I just was like, you know what? I'm not going to end up paying this, so let's just send that to a collection agency and I'll pay the fraction that I'll end up owing. But yeah, no, it was like if I paid the minimum payment, it would have taken me 50 years to pay off the debt or something. Because the interest was so high. Because they were like, really, when I came up in like 2004 when I left home-ish, that was when they were just really fucking people with interest rates.
Yeah.
They were sending you credit cards the day that you graduated from high school. Like, hey, you can have a credit card. It's 29% APR, but like you can have it.
Yeah, I mean, I have a credit card with my bank. The interest rate isn't even that bad, but at the peak of my credit card debt, they were charging me like $95 a month in interest, and it's like, I just gave you $200. You're saying half of that's just going to interest?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. Bad.
Be careful. Be careful.
Yeah.
All right. Theater apologizes for screening Rated R Sausage Party trailer ahead of Finding Dory.
It's an innocent mistake.
It was, and they're very sorry about it.
They're very sorry.
The apology is just so just real and heart-wrenching. Like, we are so, you could feel it through the text.
It was like kind of a small town theater, and like more kids than they expected showed up to see Finding Dory, and they had to move their schedule around to make room for that.
They ended up playing a different movie during that screening, and that was the trailer that was attached to it. It wasn't
they
just
forgot
the
to change out the hard drives or whatever.
Yeah.
And
a simple mistake.
Yeah, so...
And then you have a sausage screaming, fuck!
Yeah.
Which is great.
I would have loved to have been in that theater for that.
Yeah.
Just parents being confused, kids being confused, childhoods being ruined.
Another thing, you know what? My favorite part about seeing these movies that are supposed to be for kids, but for some reason studios are like, let's make them for adults, was in Tarzan last night, lots of kids there. Insanely violent movie. People getting their ears blown off, people getting stabbed in slow motion and stuff, and people freaking out. Like kids going, ah!
Yeah, but this is America. Violence is fun. Did they show any tits?
Margot Robbie was soaking wet at one point.
Whoa! Shame, Margot Robbie. Have some fucking decency.
You get to see Skarsgård's dick all the time, though.
Yeah.
It's swinging much like the vines in the jungle.
Well, yeah, they don't have underwear in there.
It's big and thick like that.
They ain't got no Mac Weldon out there in the Congo.
Yeah.
Brexit. German Foreign Office tweets it is headed to an Irish pub to get decently drunk.
That's great. I don't know.
I love these government Twitter accounts that like to have a little fun with it, you know?
Yeah, no, and also did you see that Boris Johnson was like, nah.
Yes.
Today he's just like, I'm good. I think I'll let the world sort itself out.
Yeah.
I like how they're just like, it's like throwing a match on a house and catching it on fire and being like, it'll probably just eventually go out.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, he can still be Trump's running mate.
That would be great. The first transcontinental running mate.
Yeah. Fuck the European Union. We have the Transatlantic Union.
Transatlantic running mate.
Together we fail.
No, I guarantee you he's gonna pitch his son-in-law for vice president. He keeps doing it's like a Donald Trump Easter egg. He's like, yeah, he's a good businessman, but this guy, he's talking about getting into politics. This guy.
Ding.
Yeah, he what did he had like some party recently where he's like, he came in under budget. It was beautifully done. The food was great. And the wall just got 10 feet taller.
So he doesn't just vaguely want to fuck his own daughter, he wants to fuck his daughter's husband.
Oh yeah, he wants to be the cuck in their relationship.
I love it. Icelandic firm offers England players free whale watching holiday to recover from defeat.
Iceland's just a great country.
So I love this. So England in the Euro Cup, days after Brexit, had to go to Iceland to play them at football, and they lost to Iceland, a fucking tiny country who historically hasn't been all that great at
Where do you
football.
find a soccer player in Iceland?
They're doing great. Iceland is doing great.
Yeah.
They're like the fucking underdog that came from nowhere. They beat England, and so this whale watching company, they're just like, England, you guys can't go home right now. It's chaos already, and you're all gonna get lynched for like letting your country down. Stay here for a couple days and
watch the
do
whale.
some whale
Eat
watching.
some puffin.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
Whale
Drink some of that
testicle
whale testicle beer. It'll be great. Cristiano Ronaldo throws television reporter's microphone into lake.
No one, all the big football teams in the Euros right now. There's a lot of disappointment happening. And Ronaldo, this clip is so great because it just confirms everything I've thought about him for years. That he's just a fucking asshole, just some pretty boy asshole.
But wouldn't you be?
Like he does a lot of charity work. Seems like he's mostly a nice guy, but he's also a fucking prick. Like this reporter comes up to him while he's walking, he just takes it and just like tosses it in the lake. Like, what are you gonna do, nerd?
He looks like a
Poindexter.
villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's fine.
He also talks shit on Iceland because Iceland did a draw with Portugal, and he's like, well, they got lucky. Like Iceland, they're very small-minded over there.
What?
Fuck, man.
What does that mean? Yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo. He's a big proponent of eugenics.
Yeah,
all those people up there in Iceland, they get the small minds because they weren't bred right. Dumb.
Yeah. Go Iceland.
He didn't.
I don't even know if they're still in, but go Iceland.
Yeah, go Iceland. This reminds me of the World Cup. I always forget about all the dumb, crazy shit that happens, but so much crazy shit happened during the World Cup that we did 2 videos about all the nonsense.
I love it.
The porn star that was trying to like fuck all the players.
Yeah.
It's great.
I don't know if she ever did.
Yeah, I don't know. We should probably check that out. Mm-hmm. Trump can't recall saying he has one of the world's best memories.
Yeah,
I don't remember saying that.
No, he was in court. I think it was the Trump University trial.
Oh, great.
And
the judge is a Mexican.
They're like, Mr. Trump, do you recall saying that you have one of the best memories in the world? He's like, or they read a quote where he said that, and he's like, I said that? And they're like, yeah. He's like, well, I don't recall saying that. And they showed him like the actual transcript, and he's like, well, I do have one of the best memories in the world, but I don't remember that.
Yeah. I pick and choose.
Yeah. The world's ugliest dog is blind, wears diapers, and has an oozing sore.
And it's from California, I believe.
This was Chicago. I don't know. I think it was Chicago.
Maybe it was a local one that I just saw
they have
recently.
a lot of regional ugly dog
All
contests.
the ugly dogs, they all look like, I know the one died that was like the reigning champion, but this new one looks just like that one.
Yeah, it's a 17-year-old blind Chihuahua it's completely hairless except for a mohawk on its head.
Yeah.
It looks like a weird little gremlin. It looks like one of the irradiated creatures in Fallout 4.
Yeah.
That you have to like.
Where's Him
shoot.
Parade?
Yeah.
You need to make dolls out of him and not Grumpy Cat.
Grumpy Cat's also got a weird birth defect, but it made Grumpy Cat cute.
They named the cat like basically the Tard for retarded, and then everyone was like, you should probably change the name. They're like, no, it means Tard for like TARDIS.
Wait, Grumpy Cat's name is Tard?
Yeah, I think so, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Wikipedia claims it was named after tartar sauce.
Yeah, no,
Oh!
that's what they said afterwards.
Tartar sauce, not for retarded.
No, it was called Tard because it looked dumb or something, and they were very offensive.
Congratulations on exploiting your disabled cat.
Yeah, and now they're millionaires.
Nope.
Man named Gambles wins lottery for second time using same numbers. Dumb.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah, I don't. It's stupid.
My name's Gambles, and I like to gamble. And
I lost my
sometimes I
first.
win.
I lost my first winnings at the poker table.
And my first wife.
Yeah.
But hey, I won the
Stephen
lottery.
Cuck just lost his second wife.
Aww.
Related.
But he watched the whole thing
He
happen
saw
and
he
enjoyed
laughed
it.
all in
Oh!
full.
Yeah.
Oh!
Did you ever see? There's a documentary called, I believe it's called Reversal of Fortune.
Yeah. Wait.
Where
no.
they put a briefcase with like $100,000 in
And the
it.
homeless guy?
I could be wrong about the money, the value, but it's something like it could be 20,000 or whatever. They put it in a dumpster, and this homeless guy finds it, but they have it all set up. They're gonna do a documentary about him and like all this stuff, and then they just watch his entire life crumble because he found a little bit of money, and that is what usually happens with lottery winners anyway. But it's like a documentary about how money. He like went out. He's like 50 grand or something. He goes out and immediately buys a $30,000 car.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't know how to spend money. You can't just do that.
Mm-hmm.
This thing happens to like actors and musicians all the time, or at least it did back when there was money in that shit.
Well, people now that it's more public knowledge that this has happened so much, you see a lot of lottery winners go and immediately get a lawyer, and the lawyer goes and gets. This is what happens. The lawyer goes and claims the prize for them, so that it's not public knowledge, so that their extended family and friends don't bother them, and they immediately get an accountant and stuff like that.
Hey,
which
it's
is
your
great.
cousin.
Wanna go bowling?
Now I want to win the lottery. I didn't know you could do that. That's
Yeah.
why
Oh, yeah.
I haven't been winning. I was
Yeah.
worried.
You can do a lot of things through an attorney.
Yeah.
Very expensive though.
Texas woman wakes up with British accent after oral surgery.
I don't want to say she's faking it, but she's faking it.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, foreign accent syndrome is a very rare thing, but it's
Well, did they
real.
put her under? They put her under, and then she came back
and it was
different?
a jaw surgery. So I don't know if it had something to do with like how it affected like the motor reflexes of her tongue. But she sounds British.
I have severe TMJ, and so whenever my jaw locks up, I turn British because there's muscles
You're
I
faking.
can't use.
You're made of glass.
Shut up! I'm not made of glass.
Yeah.
It's partly broken.
Anyway, it's this Texas woman. I think she's Mexican or part Mexican, so it's extra funny seeing her speaking with a British accent.
yeah.
Because I realized I was like, I've never seen a Mexican with a
British.
British accent.
Yeah.
It's just funny to me.
Yeah.
Can you guys see that I'm making the jerk off motion? Can they see that?
No.
The viewers?
No.
Okay.
Well, it's implied though, always. Park geese to become meals for Maryland Food Bank. Good.
I love
They're
it.
doing their part.
Fuck geese.
Yeah.
They're asshole animals. They shit everywhere. They're mean.
Yeah, they're mean.
You
They're
put-
like the wasps of the bird.
Geese are like
Genre.
They're like gang members.
Yeah.
Like if you set up a really nice park in your city and you put geese in there, they don't let anyone else come.
The fucking Trump supporter over here.
Yeah. You try to go to the park and the geese are like, what? Where are you
This-
from? Get out of my park. Then they quack at you and they chase you down. You can't even look at their kids.
Elliot has a strong opinion on this because he lives in Echo Park.
Well, in Echo Park, they had to go so far as to give the geese their own island to live on.
Yeah.
So that they like
Called
have
Geese Island.
Yeah, it's
Is that
called.
where they make Goose Island beer?
Yeah, it's the
Okay.
same thing. Yeah.
Not the same place, but
Yeah.
yes, they had to create an island where all the geese hang out because they were ruining the park for everyone else.
Yeah.
So yeah, fuck the geese, kill them, feed them to the poor. This is a great plan. Good.
Okay. Anyways, fast food chain offers free burgers for life if you change your surname to Burger. That seems pretty easy.
Yeah, I know. It's not
Elliot
that weird
Burger.
of a name. In German, it just means like citizen.
Yeah.
But that
So-
doesn't even advertise them. It advertises burgers.
Well, no, because the chain, it's an Australian restaurant called Mr. Burger. Get it?
Mr. Burger.
Did you see that Australia also developed a In-N-Out copycat?
No.
Because people were like, they really loved In-N-Out, and it's called like Out and About or something stupid like that.
At in a bit.
At and a bit.
At the boot?
At and a bit. Yeah. Anyways.
Well, that's the it.
Yeah, that's the it.
That's the it. That's the end.
Oh man, what a wild ride we've been on today with the Rio de Janeiro Olympics and Elliot being like racist against marginalized people.
And geese.
I'm racist against geese.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, they are terrible.
They're awful.
They're just like wasps. Bees, they're fine. They make
Yeah.
honey. They have a vital role in the ecosystem. Wasps are just fucking assholes. Same
Yeah.
with ducks. Ducks, they taste great.
Yeah.
They're not really messing around too much. They got those spiral dicks. They're kind of scary.
Yeah.
But then you got geese who are like the fucking asshole older
Step
brother.
up, step
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And we did that story like 2 weeks ago about the American eagle and the Canada goose, and you
Yeah.
know what? I've changed my opinion. Fuck the Canada goose.
Yeah.
He probably started it.
Yeah, he probably did start it.
Probably started it.
And then he's like playing the victim.
Yeah. He faked a hate crime against
Yeah,
Canadian
yeah.
animals
He
to make American animals look bad.
He made sure he was talking shit about the American bald eagle, and then he saw that photographer,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Yeah, come at me," and then like played dead,
Oh, you got me.
and then now it looks like the Americans are the assholes.
Yeah.
Well, that's that. Watch other content over here, especially this video about a gay YouTuber who faked a hate crime.
Great. That just helps progress so much.
Yeah. It also marginalizes anyone that actually has been a victim of a hate
Yep.
crime. Great. So also we have a new episode of Tech Tuesday where Hillary's at it again. What? There was something more to that story too, right?
Kanye.
Oh yeah, Kanye put
The video
titties
for
all over
famous
it.
actually makes title relevant sort of again.
Yeah, he put Tyler Swift's boobs on there, which is Taylor Swift's brother.
I'm Tyler Swift.
I'm Tyler Swift. I'm a musician
I'm
too.
gonna shake it off.
And then we'll put something else right there.
Yeah.
What was it?
Podcast.
Yeah, Nolan North.
Nolan
We're gonna be
North.
Nolan North.
The voice of video games.
Ironically, the audio is bad on it.
Yeah.
So, bye.
Check it
And a
out.
whole lot of this.
Hey, thanks, Phil.